What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus drama, drop points, refs getting relegated. Holy smokes, boys. What's going on? I leave for one wedding, okay? I got to watch this game in a tent, okay? And this is what happens. This is what happens when we don't run a watch along with Berto. 1-1 draw to Verona. A ton to discuss on the backside of this game, and we're going to get into it. But Trim, how you doing this morning? A little bit of an incident at hockey. You're okay? You didn't have to tune somebody up or what?
I had to witness probably one of our worst defensive performances yesterday. So I told myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to be a good Canadian boy, and I'm going to play at both ends of the ice today, try to make up for our poor defensive performance yesterday. I save a goal from happening, and the guy that I play with, conveniently the guy who runs the little get-together that we do, decides to put his stick up and catches me in the lip, and I wear a visor, but it doesn't cover the chin and the jibs area. But anyway, so little high stick, little worse for wear, but, you know, all good. Spit the
Did you
blood
roll
out
the
and keep
window
going.
down and... Come on,
No,
man.
I'd have to roll it up if anything, and then just give it to him. But no, he's a good guy. So
All right.
Yeah.
Sev, what happened? What happened to you? Anything? You good?
Besides that game yesterday, super fucking pissed. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I mean, I don't think we need to waste time. Say what's up to everybody in the chat. A little bit later of a start time. That's because my wife and I rolled in super late last night, so we wanted to start it a little bit later. And then I needed a little bit more time on top of that, all right? So late start, that's on me, everybody, okay? But what's up to everybody in there? Pino, Matteo, Adam, Seshko, Vincenzo, Mark, Swarit. It's great to see all of you. And let's waste no time. In the news today, there's a lot of wild stuff being posted out there. A referee relegation that Capuano did yesterday. Antonio Rapuano is going to be relegated in all probability to Serie B. This is coming from Gazzetta. I mean, we'll get into the sequences and stuff, but this was just a ton of frustration all over the place when I'm sitting there watching this game. And again, I was at a wedding, okay, but we had a lot of time, so everybody was getting ready. I wasn't actually a part of the party. My wife was, so I got to just hang out. So I'm just hanging out, mind my own business, having some drinks, watching this game, and everybody's just like, must have thought I was a lunatic, because they're like, who's this guy sitting over there screaming at this phone right now? But that was me yesterday. So I think my wife even told the girls as they're all getting ready, don't worry, he's just watching the game. He does this all the time. So there you go. Let's get to the starting lineups for this one. This is how Juve would kick things off. Di Gregorio, Kelly, Gati, Kalulu. Oh. Kelly, Gati, and Kalulu. João Mario ended up getting the start over McKennie on the right side there. Locatelli, Thuram, Kambiaso, Conceição, Yildas, and Dusan Vlahovic gets the start. And yeah, just that back line, boys, that's asking for trouble. That's asking for trouble on its own accord. A tricky away fixture that always gives you problems. Why add to your own? Nonetheless, I was like right away, I was like, that back line. And I gotta say, maybe expected a little bit more of a shift, a little bit more of a change because of the game being so close. Okay, playing Saturday, you played your Champions League match, and it's just like, maybe you need a little bit more. It is still early in the season, though. But what did you think of that lineup when it first came out? Let's start with Trim, then get to Sev. Just real quick on the lineup. Any changes you would have made?
Personally, I wanted to see like a complete rotation yesterday, especially against the opponent that we were facing, right? Like, I would have loved to see Rugani get in there, would have loved to see Cabal get in there at the back, specifically because we will touch on throughout the show how poor the back line was, but just in general, our defending. In the middle and up front, I wasn't too upset with who was out there, but again, like, Thuram needed a rest, Loka needs a rest. there's got to be, obviously, Tudor has a reason why some of these guys weren't in there. But yeah, like for me, the back line should have been different, and I would have loved to see more rotation. Simple as that.
Yeah. And Sev, your thoughts on that starting lineup?
Pretty much the same. I don't like Kalulu and Gati without Bremer. That's the thing that scares me, because you say it all the time, Al, with the brain farts these two have. That's two brain farts next to each other without somebody to save their ass. So in the midfield, like same as Trim, no problem. The front line, it's the top three. You could pick whoever out of the batch that we have. Those three up there, as long as Yildas obviously would be in there. I would have liked Yildas to get a full day off, but because you have the coverage up there. So other than that, I mean, I was okay with it.
Can we afford that? That's another discussion.
Yeah, well, now we know we can't.
We'll get into that. So let's quickly recap this game, because, oh my God, I tell you, it started off not bad. I didn't feel like we had control even from the get-go. It looked like it was back and forth. Despite the possession numbers coming out of that first half, didn't feel that way. But 19 minutes in, Conceição, beautiful. That's a good start. Okay, so cagey little start to the game. Not really in control, because I think a lot of us would have expected us to kind of hem them back and them look to hit us on counters, which kind of was happening. But I didn't expect them to hit us with the strength and, that efficiency that they did in terms of giving us problems. But we'll talk about that. Conceição cuts inside, feints the first time when I thought he was going to shoot, holds on to it, and then actually strikes. Beautiful goal. Great stuff from Conceição. You could say he got a little bit lucky. First defender getting a piece of it, and it still fell at his feet. But, man, the guy always looks raring to go when he's out there, and he needed that goal. It's been a while since Conceição buried on that end, and that's a good one from him. So I like that from Chico Conceição. I think when you get to a full strength level, the fact that you can pull either or, vice versa, start Jagrova and bring Chico in, or start Chico, bring Jagrova in after, I think that's one hell of a 1-2 punch to have in your back pocket. But good start. Positive start. We move on. After that, I still just don't think we ever really had control. Like, it was never controlled. You have strong possession numbers in this game for Juve, but it felt like they were coming back at us with a little bit, just too much ease, a little too easy for them to hit us on transition. And that's probably for a number of reasons, but we'll continue on. We get a PK given against us. Boys, is that a handball? Yes or no? A lot of arguments on this one with a handball on João Mario. Throw-in comes off from the sideline, and I mean, let's start off here, okay? I'm sorry. Is there anybody working at Serie A? Anybody there? Holy hell, boys. 2025, you get a foul throw, and play is on. Nobody looks at nothing. Okay, now, handball on João Mario.
For me, I think it was, because it's consistent with the game prior. We were talking about it actually in the AJC Army chat with Bucci. Bologna, same thing. Except in that game, Carboni had his arm next to his body, stuck his arm out, unnatural position, ball hits his arm, PK. In this case, for me, again, it's a split-second decision, but João Mario had Locatelli behind him. As a defender, you never want to let the ball drop in the box, but had he just let the ball drop, would have never hit his arm, and we wouldn't be talking about this today. But for me, I think it was a PK based on the fact that it did hit his arm, but I missed the foul throw. So
yeah, it's a foul throw to start the thing. The guy's like, and when you watch it, his left foot actually is off the ground as well. So not only is he over the... Guys, this isn't Vietnam. There's rules here, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck. It's wild to me. Foul throw. But I will say this, if I'm looking at that whole play, because there were some others that came in that said, look at it, this is actually brutal, and felt bad for João Mario. I don't think his arm's in an unnatural position. It's not in an unnatural position because he's standing there bracing for a header. He closes his eyes. He puts his head down. And by the time this thing comes down, he's completely missed it. And it falls on his arm. There's also a player jumping across the face of him.
Yeah.
So I see the defense that some have out there. But honestly, I feel like it's a wild card. And I feel like there's a lack of consistency. And we've always said that's the major issue, is the lack of consistency. Sev, your thoughts on this play?
I felt bad for him because it was unavoidable. In his, he missed the header. Like you just said, his head went down, the ball, must have glazed his forehead and then hit his hand. And his hand is in a natural position because who jumps with their hand, your hands are kind of out. Sorry, my camera keeps fading out.
He wasn't even jumping. He's just standing there.
Yeah.
He's just standing.
Yeah. And that's why. But it was a handball. But like Trim, I missed until you showed us in the green room, I missed that foul. Because you know what it is? Serie A, but it's also in the Prem and all these other leagues. The refs let so much stupid shit go where I don't even look at the thrower's feet anymore because nobody throws the way we were taught to throw when we were in Little League, right? Like you had to have both feet planted. Some refs would let you drag one foot, right? Now it's like you could do you could go straight up, nobody calls it. And that's the problem. There's no consistency.
I think they have to clean up all this outside garbage around these plays. Because number one, the main thing has to be arm in an unnatural position. His arm is in a natural position. Number two, what's the actual sequence of events? It's a throw-in that all the players missed that falls and hits his arm. Is there any type of advantage to the defensive side there in that scenario? No, not really. It's just a standard play. Let it go. You got to look at this. It's completely different. There's a shot coming at a player or whatnot that could be going in the net or something. They just got to clean it up. Nonetheless, they step up. Di Gregorio takes heat for this PK from some. He guesses right. It's not placed properly. It's poorly placed. We got to say, very close to the center. He gets mitts on it, but it just goes up in behind the bar. I gotta say, I'd expect him to stop it when you see the camera view behind and he guesses right the whole way and he's there and he doesn't have to stretch. It's like right here. The guy put heat on it, but I'm just going to say I expect him to stop it. I'm not going to murder the guy, but if you're going to tell me Di Gregorio's going to guess right on a PK that's put close to the center, I'm going to expect all the keepers, if you get that much mid on it, to keep it out. But it was hit with heat. I'm going to move it on. But do you guys think a little bit rough from Digre there?
I'm going to say, I think Digre thinks Digre should have made it because you saw how pissed he was after it. Like, he slammed his, chest down. He was like, fuck. Because, that, you know what I mean? So I think I felt the same way where he should have had that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm a little more forgiving. Like, it looks bad on the one angle from the side where it looks like he literally pushes it up to the top corner, right? Because he got his mid on it. But again, he's got heat on it. But I know if you ask the keepers, they're going to say if they get any touch on it, they expect to keep it out of the net, right?
Yeah, he had a lot of it. It's wasn't fingertips. And again, that's because of the placement. The placement was poor from Orban. Who by whatever means is being treated like the second coming of Didier Drogba now all of a sudden, and we'll get into this because it's 1-1 here, okay? And again, it's a frustrating half, very, very frustrating half, and it doesn't end there because then you have, on top of this nonsense, okay, we get to this.
Oof.
I don't know. Okay, let's just call it for what it is, but Serie A refs are absolutely brain dead and garbage. And where is VAR on this whole sequence? I don't know if VAR is ruled out because of the fact that he gave a yellow, but we've seen time and time again where VAR will say, you might have to look at this. And this ticks all the boxes. And I'm just going to say, like, this is how mind-blowing it is. This has nothing to do with Juve's performance. Let me clarify that first and foremost. Kalulu's incident, Yildas' incident, Kambiaso's incident, all three of them not even close to being as bad as this. When you watch the play, Orban is not even looking at the ball. He's staring at Gati. He loads up and charges at him. Despite if it hits part of Gati's shoulders first or anything, that is as blatant as you can be to a red card. That is a straight red offense. He gets a yellow, and we go into halftime at 1-1. This is an absolute joke, boys. Boys,
Yes.
what are we doing here?
100%. 100%. That was, like you said, you prefaced it where this doesn't take anything away of how badly we played and that we should have been up a man when we shouldn't need to be up a man against Verona, but you got to call the plays. You got to call the fucking plays. This is bullshit, especially the way you just said it, where it happened. Yildas, we've seen it. And how many times does Barella get away with this, or Bastoni get away with this, or any of these? And now this Verona player gets away with it. But when it's done to us, no.
That is
Yellow
as
card, maybe.
blatant
And
as
the best
you
is
can
they
be.
said, the best is they said maybe it's a yellow card. The announcers were like, maybe it's a yellow card. I was like, are you kidding me?
Who's announcing
Maybe
the game?
yellow.
Stevie Wonder?
No, it's our buddy Patrick Kendrick, the Interista. So I'm not really
Oh
surprised.
my
All
goodness.
game.
Maybe
All
a
game.
yellow in prison. In
Yeah.
prison? That's a straight
No.
red offense, and it's absolute garbage. Now, again, not absolving Juve from their performance.
Right,
But
exactly.
come on. What are we doing here?
Yeah, no,
Three
it's
players sent for less. Violent conduct. That's garbage. That's garbage. And even if you hear something today about the league doing something to this official, whether that's true or not, listen, I'm going to take the Juve shirt off figuratively. Relax, everybody. Figuratively. Okay?
Scaring me, Al. Don't.
As a league, this is part of the nonsense that they create. And as a league, this is why I just laugh when everybody's like, you gotta support those rivals in Champions League, whatever, for the good of Italy. Shut up, please. Leave me alone.
yeah.
Nope.
It's a joke. If you were watching this, you can't have a league and they can't figure it out to save their lives where you go into press conferences and you have coaches coming out calling out this garbage because they are part of your product and they're calling your product substandard and absolute trash. And they're not lying, and it's the truth. Shit like that shouldn't happen where crucial points are decided and impacted and influenced by shit that needs to be dealt with. What is even the point of VAR?
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, he was given and assessed a yellow card on the play. And I could swear that they had panned to the ref almost as if he was signaling to his earpiece that VAR was looking at it. But it's almost like they looked at it quick and just like let it go and negated it. It's disgusting. It's just, again, put the Juve bias aside. Like, if I'm watching Milan Inter and this happens, it's a blatant red. It's obvious. You know, we watched Yildas go through it, Kambiaso. In both of those instances as well, like, I watched the game live and I said to myself, stupid play. You can't make that play or make that mistake and slap a guy across the head, whatever. This was blatant. The guy's looking Gati dead in the eye, not looking at the ball, and extends his elbow out and gives him that forearm shiver. Like,
Yeah.
just make it consistent. That's all we're asking for. Again, you know, we had our buddies online trolling. I was watching and skimming through X yesterday, and they're all laughing and saying, "Oh, you guys get away with this and that." It's like, I get what they're trying to do, but at the end of the day, if it happened to their club and they were watching their match and this happened, they'd be screaming and yelling. Again, it's not taken away from the performance, but that affects the match because if that guy gets sent off, who knows what happens the rest of the match, right?
Well,
so
and that's part of it. And again, it doesn't absolve us from our own, issues. We get into the second half. There's not really much to say here, okay? We were worse in the second half, in my opinion.
Yep.
Way worse.
Oh, yeah.
They looked the more threatening side the entire way through. Tudor made changes. He made player changes, though. And I think some shortcomings come through in that second half by something that we're watching with Tudor, and that's him. His impact, his evolution as a manager in not being a one-trick pony. I could have told you, changing Cope Miners for Locatelli is a change that's not going to help anything.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, you look to add a third midfielder. Your team was getting blown up on transition.
Yeah.
I was wrong, everybody. I was wrong, and I can admit it because I said you should be fine with a two-man pivot against Verona. We were not fine with it.
No.
There was no balance, not for 1 second, even in the first half. When we come out with 70-something% possession, it was not controlled. And I was surprised that that number was that high. The play should have been to stabilize a back line that in no way, shape, or form could play a high line. Kelly, Gati, and Kalulu, no chance you play that high a line. You did it the whole way through. You're getting punished. And part of that was your midfield lack of balance. So the play wasn't Locatelli out, Cope Miners in. The play was getting a third midfielder in there. Whether it's Cope Miners, whether you use Adzic there, which is something I would have probably done, stabilize the game. But that's what we got. We got just player substitutions, no actual change to the setup. And I think that was a major shortcoming from the read. The game ends there, everybody, after a canceled out goal, which was a shit show also. Okay? Garbage. And we were lucky. We were lucky.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So
really, really poor defending. Like I feel like this game had a four-man back line written all over it. At many points in the first half, but also the second half on Verona's side, they had five guys sitting back on their back line. So even with, one guy up there, like it's not going to do much with Vlahovic. Like our strikers and our offense they had no service yesterday. I'll give them that, but they didn't also contribute and didn't help. And I'm sure when we go through the ratings for the player ratings, we'll get to that. But I think yesterday showed like that would have easily been a four-man back line, would have helped stabilize defensively, and could have maybe created, like you said, add three midfielders flat. Maybe would have helped with Coop in there specifically. But yeah, it was just not good all around. Not good all around.
yeah, I said it going into it. I said sooner rather than later, if you're looking at Juve, Tudor's going to have to find something with a three midfield set. And I was told, not this game. Not this game. Then what game? What game are we waiting for? A tougher one? Don't wait. He needs to have alternatives. This one didn't need player subs. This one needed a systematic change at halftime. If you were seeing that and thinking, no, this is fine, we're good, we can continue this way, you were wrong. We were all wrong, if that's what we thought. I didn't think that, though. We needed to change. Now, to add insult to injury, okay? They're just putting it right out in front of our faces right now. Man of the match, this guy shouldn't have even been sticking around. This mutt ends up getting man of the match. This is Serie A in a nutshell, okay? Serie A in a nutshell. This absolute clown ends up taking man of the match. It's hilarious. Serie A has become a meme. A meme. Wild, wild stuff, boys. Wild, wild stuff. You want to talk about ratings? We will break down the ratings also. Let me get the graphic up here. And then in this ratings, what we'll do is we're going to break it down. One of us will take the back and the keeper, and then the others will do the midfield and the attack, etc., right? This is how we've been doing it as of late. We'll continue in that manner. So, fellas, who wants to start off and take our back line and our keeper? We'll go right here. This is the ratings coming out from yesterday. I'll start with the keeper and at the back here. I mean, I don't think we need to get too crazy, but Di Gregorio at a 7.6. The funny thing with Di Gregorio is if we want to even dock points with that PK and stuff like that, he actually made a big save early in this game, just less than 10 minutes from a howler of a reading from Gati on a ball that ends up with Orban. And Di Gregorio was big. Outside of that, he came out when he had to. He still looks a little suspect in certain plays. Like, he came out to punch one, and I thought it was fortunate to get even a foul on that play, but just something seems a little off. I definitely don't have him at 7.6, but I don't think he had a bad game, and I'm not going to hurt him on that PK. So I'm going to go with like a 6.6, somewhere in there. 6.3 from Kalulu. Gati at a 7.1 and Kelly at a 6.5. Guys, I think if we walk around the back line with an even 6, that might probably be it. I'm going to be quite honest. Kelly seemed to turn every time on the ball into the wrong spot. And they just ran along and took the ball right off his feet as if he was trying to set it up for them. I saw that happen a handful of times before I started screaming, would you pass the fucking ball? And if you have to go back to Di Gregorio, pass the fucking ball back. I don't know what this guy was doing. And shockingly enough, if I was going to rate anybody higher than a 6, it would have been Kelly over Gati and Kalulu, who were both atrocious. Yeah. He was the best of the bunch. 7.1 at Gati. Who the hell watched that game? No, I have 6s across the board. Lloyd Kelly can get a 6.1 to be higher from the rest. It was terrible. And to be fair to these guys, Gati should never have been in the heart of the 3-man backline. We all know that. And I said it. I go, you're asking for trouble. This 3 should have never happened. Rugani is the play when Bremer is out. He is. And if people don't like it or he's not good enough, hey, I get it. Then back 4 is the play. And at halftime, we should have went to a back 4. And we should have had a third midfielder. But that's my ratings at the back. Midfield, Trim, João Mario, 6.4, Loca, 7.2, Thuram, 6.8, and Kambiaso, 6.4. Fire away.
So for me, right off the hop, the first thing I noticed was Kambiaso towards the middle and end of the game was just gassed. You could just see when guys are getting the ball and just can't even, that first touch, like can't even contain it and possess it and try to move forward with it. He was losing balls left, right, and center. Not good. Joao Mario on the other side, same thing. Like he started off okay, but just for whatever reason, they couldn't build up from the back. So the ratings across the front or across the middle here, Loca to 7.2, I think is okay. I would maybe just give him like an even 7. Thuram, for me, shouldn't have started in the game in the sense that he was gassed. Like 6.8 is being generous in my opinion. I don't think he was lower than a 6, but maybe 6.2 in and around that range. But this midfield 4 for me on paper it seemed okay, but I would have preferred more rotation. Believe it or not, which I know the chat's not going to like me for this, but believe it or not, I would have actually started Coop in this game. Again, to just give some rest. And I get it. A lot of people will come back and say, well, we're only 4 games in. Shouldn't have to rotate that much because, again, we're only 4 games in. But we had 3 games this week, like from last Saturday till now, right? So I don't get it from Tudor's standpoint. I think we needed more rotation with all these matches that we have. And against a weaker opponent, like we're complaining that we should have beat this club yesterday.
Well, we'll get more into that on the back end of it and stuff. Because, that's definitely part of the aftermath because Tudor said some very, very distinct words about that. 3 games in 7 days, right? And fans, we got fans on both sides of the fence there with Tudor's words after this game. So that's definitely going to come into play, Trim, for sure.
Yeah, but I like to your point. Drop someone in the back line on the left side, keep Kalulu on the right, and keep Gati and Kelly in the middle, and have 3 men mid. That's what I would have gone with. But the subs that came in after. Adzic didn't really look impactful in that 2-man pivot. He's got to be higher up the field for me. And Coop's Coop. But like I said, I don't care what anyone says. He's still my guy. I think he'll figure it out. It's just we got to start getting him going.
I tell you, man, patience is running thin for this old man over here.
I hear you.
Severino's going to take the attack with Conceição finishing 8.2, and he was subbed off in this game. You got Vlahovic at a 6.1, Yildas at a 7.3. Go, Sev.
All right, I'm going to start with this. Not a hot take. Dusan Vlahovic. No more starts. Like, that's it. No more starting this guy. Because, yes, he's a 6.1, but that's not... He got nothing. I think that pass was, like, the only time he touched the fucking ball.
What did you think of... This is... he made this look a lot more difficult than I think it had to be. But on the run, full speed, in the end, Montipo just has to pull out the classic Ron Hextall leg kick to stop it. But I'm like... I was screaming, okay? I might have startled several of the old folks at this wedding, but like, shoot! Yeah. Shoot the damn ball early. Like, he's waiting, and Montipo's tracking back. Nonetheless, it's not the be-all, end-all. There was not much service there and stuff, but keep going, Sev.
The 6.1 is an unfair 6. We can all agree, use this guy to what his strength is at this point, is use him in the end of the game. And you have so many other people you could use. So let's do that, number one. Yildas and Conceição, I'm going to say it's a pretty fair number. I could probably go a little lower on both of them. But just because I feel like they were trying to be the heroes of the game, especially Yildas. But, like, it's almost like these guys know, wow, the rest of the team is playing like shit. So we got to do above our pay grade here. And they were fucking up. So I think that they were taking on too much of the pressure of how shitty the team played. But overall, I would go a little bit lower in both of those.
All right. I think I had to laugh at some of the discussions I had going into this game when I was like, you don't start Vlahovic. This isn't a controversy. This isn't like a crazy thing. I go, you just don't start him. I had to laugh. It's too small a sample size right now. What? Guys, he's been with us for 3 friggin' years. You know exactly what you have there. It's like, don't become a prisoner of the moment. Don't become like these guys that from one minute to the next, we got a new trend that we change our opinions with the wind. Listen, you know where you're at with Dusan Vlahovic. If you're not... Look at all these sequences that have happened too, even further beyond the substitution thing. Where have these contributions come from? Running at defenses. Was this going to be a game where you're going to be running at a defense with space everywhere? No. So what Dusan would you expect? Your super sub Dusan, or the Dusan you've just had for 3 years that can't do sweet fuck all in build-up and get isolated up at the top and play no part in the game? Shouldn't have been a surprise. It's done. No more starting Vlahovic. He can come off the bench. Tired legs. He can win physical battles there. He looks better. Keep the chip on his shoulder. It's done. Finito. And I'll add, fuck.
But that goes to Tudor for doing it.
Well,
he saw that it didn't work with Inter, and he did it again. Like, I don't get it.
Tudor's taken some flack from some of the fan base. He's taken some of the flack. Juve struggled second half. And when you have a game like this and you need something to change, you need something to go your way, when it goes backwards and in the opposite direction in the second half in terms of play, guess where the guns are going to get pointed? They're going to be coming at the coach. Any coach. You've got to pull strings. For Tudor, fatigue and schedule congestion. This is what Trim was talking about. So it's 3 matches in 7 days. He comes out and he speaks to this and he goes, there is no reason this game had to be played on Saturday. And he goes, Napoli's going to have a certain amount of days from their Champions League matchup, etc. Fans, some of them, this hit a nerve. And others are like, well, he's right. So, were you bothered by him talking about the schedule after this result, 1-1, dropped points away to Verona? Did it bother you? Did it piss you off? Or are you looking at it a different way? Sev, were you bothered by Tudor's words?
Yes, this is a perfection thing that Motta used to do, where he looks for fucking excuses after a shitty game that his team played. And give me a break. So Napoli got an extra day between their games, and we didn't. I just think it's a cop-out. It's a cop-out by you. You played Verona, bro. You didn't play fucking Manchester City or Real Madrid. You played Verona. Like, your team was not prepared, and you fucked up. The formation, the changes, everything. I think it's a cop-out. If it was against, like, a big team that we tied with yesterday or lost, I would say, okay, maybe he's right. We needed the extra day or an extra couple of... You played Verona, bro. You played Verona. Sorry. Not giving it.
Trim, were you bothered?
Yeah, I would say it's not that it bothers me. It's just it's totally unnecessary. Like, that's the easiest to Sev said. The easiest point is to cop out after a match like that. Like, even if we lost the match, is he going to come out and say, "Oh, it's we didn't have enough rest because it's 3 and 7 days"? Like, it's not good optics. And as an experienced manager as he is, like, he should know that. Just don't even say it. Like, it's obvious in the sense that, yeah, like, we all realize that, fans alike know that you guys have played 3 games in 7 days, but you can't come out and say that. So that's why, like, it doesn't bother me. You got to be smarter than that. Use that as an excuse.
Number one, Napoli played their Champions League game 2 days after us. They played on Thursday, their Champions League game.
Exactly.
Yes.
So they're playing on what, Sunday? Monday. Sorry.
Yeah, they play tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, they play tomorrow. I mean, at the end of the day, what he's still trying to point to is 3 games, because they won't have had 3 games in the 7-day wheelhouse, right? That's what he's aiming at. It's it's frustrating. I understand trying to do something to bring the league's attention to the schedule. I get that. Okay? I understand that.
Sure.
But you choose your timing wisely so that it doesn't look like an excuse. If you were going to talk about 3 games in 7 days, would you guys have felt differently if he did it before the match as opposed to after it with result? Because some would still take exception to that and say, look, man, he's already starting the excuse for a trap game, which we knew this could be a trap game. So is he starting the excuses? Or is there ever a good time? Because I'll be quite honest with you, I agree that it's garbage to have 3 games in 7 days. I think it's bullshit.
Sure.
And I think there's no reason, with our next game being on Saturday, there's no reason that this game couldn't have been flexed to Monday.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially because there's only one match tomorrow, and it's that match, Pisa-Napoli.
There's no reason it couldn't have been flexed.
Yeah.
And they had ample opportunity to look at the scheduling to do that. So even if you want to talk about ticket sales, fans, traveling, etc., there was a lot of time,
Yep.
But it's a mess. It's a shit show. So doing it after that result is a bad look. You might still take a little bit of a sting at the start, but at some point you got to talk, and somebody's got to voice their opinion about these schedules. Because there's no need for any team to be playing 3 games in 7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
But he didn't stop there, and he was pretty strong about the officiating and the calls, and specifically the Gati moment, etc. Look, it's a frustrating game. This was brutal, but for me, I'm going to say it. And I love Tudor. I think it's hard not to respect the guy. It's hard not to like him because of his demeanor, the quality of actual man he is that is coming through a lot. So I'm not going to dive in a hell of a lot on all this, but I'm just going to call it for what it is. I put yesterday's drop points on Tudor more than the players.
100%. I agree, because for me it started from the starting lineup. You get that wrong, it just sets a ripple effect throughout the match. Like, you can correct it throughout the match, obviously, by making proper changes, whether it's formation or subs late in the game or in the middle of the game. But it's almost like he set himself up, if that makes sense, just based on the starting lineup.
Yeah, I just think this one for me is on Tudor. This one's on Tudor for drop points big time. I mean, for me, it never felt like he had his fingers on the pulse of this match, because I don't know how you could, and I don't know how you can watch that game and have a read where the changes that he made were the ones that he felt necessary. It was player for player. That game was screaming to stabilize the midfield. And I'm going to say this. We don't need to continue with certain fucking things to know what needs to happen, what needs to work. If you're going in a two-man pivot, Locatelli has to be one of them. He has to be one of them if you're continuing with a two-man pivot. If he's not in there, then you got to go with a three-man midfield, because with one of Thuram or one of Cope Miners, one of McKennie, one of whatever, if Loca's not involved in the two-man pivot, it looks like shit. Period.
It doesn't work.
Yeah,
if you want three mids, then you can leave Locatelli aside and you can figure out from there. But it makes no sense. There is no reference point. It's disjointed and it's ugly. And I don't know why nobody else can really. I don't know. I don't get it. But Tudor missed the mark big time in the adjustments in this one. And again, the biggest piece of evidence, you go from one half and you go second half and it's completely worse. Completely worse. And if we're talking about tired legs and he should have rested Yildas, he should have done this, he doesn't have an alternative in terms of setup, in terms of system. And you take away Yildas from this lineup, Kambiaso the past two games has been awful. Kambiaso's been fucking invisible these last two games. We're talking about tired from a guy that served a ban. Fuck, you're tired a Champions League game into this. You barely did anything that Champions League game. The guy's ghosted. This is what pisses me off. This guy goes from games and he fluctuates in these games like nothing. He can come out the next game and have this game that's going to have all the young kids posting their videos, best fullback in the world, because he can do that. And then he can put up games like this where he's not even relevant whatsoever. And that's why when we talk about Kambiaso, I always say, like, I'm not jumping on this bandwagon. I'm not jumping on this world-class thing. I love the guy, but he's got to find a way to be one of the key players on this team. A guy whose name has been involved in pillars of Juve discussions. I'm sorry. Okay. Fuck, that's two sleepers. And you're coming off a ban for a bonehead play. Get your head out of your ass and impact games.
Do you think, and I'm asking both of you this with Kambiaso, because Al, me and you have always defended him a lot, especially in our chat and stuff like that. Do you think it has anything to do, because it's a little coincidental ever since he's been playing in front of Kelly? Do you think that's something that could be it? That he feels that he can't, like his link-up play with Kelly is just not working?
I don't think so.
I don't know what it is with him. I don't know. I just don't get it.
It's been the same since day one. He's streaky. It's like he shows up and then he doesn't. It's just, that's part of him. That's part of him.
Maybe when Cabal is playing behind him, we might see a little bit. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out because I don't get it with him. I don't get it.
I just don't think he's as good as some people make him out to be. He's still a pretty good player, but he's not ever going to get to that level. And
because we see the flashes.
He has no consistency.
Exactly. And that's why, going back to like last season where there were rumors of Man City and selling him and the price tag, it's like you can't turn that down. And he had an agreement in place would look a lot different if he wasn't here and we actually made that move. Who knows?
And this is the funny thing about Kambiaso is because then he has some games where you're like, man, could you imagine if we would have sold him at that time? But then he goes through a period where he's asleep at the wheel, and it's like, maybe we should have taken that 65 mil and picked up another guy that could show us one good game out of 5. Like, I don't get it, but this fluctuation in consistency is terrible. It's brutal. And when you're one of the key guys, or we're banking on you to be a key guy, you got to get your head out of your ass. So Kambiaso's pissing me off right now. Time to get going. But to Tudor, again, another reason why these drop points are on him for me is the fact that if you're looking at this going into this game, we all looked at that back 3 and we're like, this is going to be a problem. And your halftime adjustment, no adjustment, addressed the back line. Rugani sitting there, no back 4, no nothing. Like, Gati is not fit to play in the heart of those 3. He's just not. Gati and Kalulu, I don't even like them playing on a flank together. 2 out of your back 3, Gati and Kalulu. Now, this is seen as a limitation for Tudor. Well, he's limited. Well, no. You're not limited in terms of setup. You can alter this thing many different ways. You could have played back 4. Locatelli could have also dropped deep. And you could have run 2 other box-to-box mids. And he could have made up a defense. You could have turned into back 5 almost, with Loca helping out and assisting.
Yeah, like floating, yeah.
It's kind of like what Marco was doing last year.
There was no tactical thought in this game from first half to second half, and for me, that is unacceptable for a coach of Juventus. We talked about this even when we go back to the season's beginning. He needs to maximize what he gets out of these guys. So, a very poor rating for me goes to Igor Tudor. And we talk about these officials, talk about these decisions that are game altering. But guys, you're not going to get, like, the next game might not have any issues with the officials or anything. So all you need to focus on is yourselves and what you're doing to improve, to get better, to strengthen as a team. That's why I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on the garbage that happened with the officials in those calls. Because at the end of the day, it's not good enough. The next game might not have any controversy. And then what? We still going to watch Tudor not figure out that there's a 3-man midfield that you might have to play. You might have to look at a back 4 at the back, like not figure any of this out. I'm going to be quite honest. Even with Bremer in that back 3, we allowed 7 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, it's not Bremer missing. That's not the...
So everybody was high on the Inter victory. Naturally, we love beating those guys. Okay? But I said I didn't like the goals that we conceded. We collapsed. There's a breakdown in the middle of the park when we play good teams. Fast forward to Dortmund. 4 goals allowed. A mess. No stability. You got to look at 3 midfields. I said you got to look at a 3-man midfield. Is Tudor doing that? Are we going to see it? Let's see. But he's got a lot of work to do. There are fans that are saying, we've got 10 points in 4 matches. That's a great pace. So they're breaking this thing down and looking at the starting to this season. So 10 points out of the first 4 games. Not bad at all. You'll take that, right? You'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that pushing the context away?
It should have been 12. Because I'm going to keep going back to it. It was Verona. That's a game you look at before the season starts and says that's an easy 3. That's an easy 3 points. Whatever. And it kind of took away, and we said this, I don't know if it was in the green room, you kind of swapped out what you did against Inter now. Because you could have tied with Inter and beaten Verona, and you would have been at the same spot. So, I mean, granted, I'd love beating Inter, because that's more of an accomplishment. But tying to Verona yesterday feels like a loss to me. You know? Feels like a loss.
I'm going to be quite honest. If you're only looking at the 10 points out of 4 games and being just, happy-go-lucky, that's a great start. That's a good pace. It is a good start. It is a good pace. However, it doesn't take into context what we were saying after the Inter match. Got to fix that issue. Exactly. We were saying after Inter, you might have to look at 3-man midfield when you play good sides because the 2-man's getting overrun. There's issues that creep up. Every game is different. And it's on a game-to-game basis where the team changes. In some aspects for the negative, in some aspects for the positive. So you look at this and it's like, the Inter game, it's like, oh, okay, we might need to get 3-man midfield. You go to the Dortmund one, it's like, okay, guys, Tudor has to do some 3-man midfield. You get to this one, hey, it's okay, we got 10 points after. Well, no, we haven't reacted. Mm-hmm. We haven't been proactive. We haven't come up with something that's going to fix some of these deficiencies. We said it after Dortmund. We're good. We're okay. We made a good comeback there. But make no mistake about it, it should have been an L, and it's 7 goals conceded in 2 games. You got to shore up. You got to figure it out. It's as simple as that. You could be happy for where we're at points-wise, and you can agree that, yes, good positive start.
Sure.
But you can't deny that there is work to do. The biggest question is Tudor. Will he snap out of this 3-4-2-1?
Well,
yeah.
Al, we also
Can he
said
adjust?
This, yeah, exactly, Trim. Like we said this on a live before the season started. I said as long as Tudor can recognize when we play a certain team, when we play against a certain team, he's got to be able to adapt, even if it's half by half. He's got to be able to say, okay, we need 3 midfielders here, or we need a back 4, or we need, 2 midfielders is enough for this game. And he's not doing it yet. He's not adapting. He didn't adapt in any of our games yet.
And small sample size, but even dating back to last year, when we've had a performance where we've actually, let's say, had a loss, or in this case, yesterday, we drew, but it was a poor performance, he's typically found a way to get the guys to respond. So we have to expect to see a better response and showing next week when we play Atalanta. We have no choice. But if we start to see the same thing happen, this will be 3 matches in a row dating back to Dortmund and even going to Inter. So you could argue 4 matches. Then we have a big, big problem.
Yeah. He's got to sort it out. He's got to find answers. Let's be honest. Tudor needs to find answers for Juve. Period. Yeah. Yep. What are those answers? I just don't see continuing with a back 3 being the best for us if that's how you get your 2-man pivot. If you're going back 3 and you want to play 3-5-2, okay, I would understand that to get a third midfielder in there. But the problem with that is now all of a sudden you're going to take away one of your attackers, which is the strong point of this team.
Yeah.
Unless some people are throwing out Zigrova as this wing-back role player. I'm not into that.
No.
I think he should pivot to a 4-3-3 setup. I pulled out that video a couple days ago and I said 4-3-2-1 Christmas tree setup.
That can work.
Yeah, that actually
and suits a lot of our players.
Yep.
And you can have guys with freedom. You can clamp guys down on wings. It's a variation of a 4-3-3 that can alter. But you can't. I don't see it the best continuing with a 2-man midfield, 2-man pivot, especially if we're this early in the season and we're going to talk about fatigue with a team of an average age of 24.8 years old, whatever the hell it is, and we're going to talk about fatigue.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's to Sev's point. It's not going to matter. You can cry till the cows come home about 3 games in 7 days, fucking 4 in 14, 4. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You've got an expectation. You as a coach, you knew what was coming up. You knew what was coming up for your schedule. Alter your training in the games in the days between. You played on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you need to recover guys more than you need to train, figure it out. Keenan Yildas doesn't need to fucking practice every day. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah, agree.
alter what you're doing. If you're like, hey, you know what? I can't afford to rest this guy, or like that game. I'm going to need him offensively. Well, then alter the training for the guys in build-up. Like, get more recovery in there. Like, figure it out. Don't just bitch about it after you make 0 adjustments and we end up drawing 1-1. And Gio keeps smashing it home here. It's September 20th. We're tired. I'm tired, you guys.
I don't even know if it's tired,
man.
though.
I'm tired.
I think it's not even tired, though. Like, for me, I look at it as it's not they're tired. It's just get these guys playing. Like, I'm reading the chat, and like, for example, with our offense, we couldn't get anything going yesterday. We couldn't build up from the middle to give Dusan, Openda, David, whoever it is, the space and the time they need to set something up. But these guys aren't even really being given the time. Like, you bring in Zagrova for 10 minutes. Okay, I get it. Like, they're saying he's only got 10 minutes in his legs. But for me, that's a pointless, useless sub. If he's not going to be able to replicate Inter or Dortmund twice in 1 week. Like, if you're going to bring him in and bring David in at the same time, let these guys play and give them enough time to try to create something. I don't know. And that's why I would have liked to see more rotation. Openda looked lost yesterday. Like, he's got wheels to him, great, but
Openda is like more of a striker. I mean, he could play in those other roles, but I just don't think yesterday is a game to bring out the best in him.
Exactly.
Like, they're clamping down and trying to transition us. David's the main guy for that type of game up at the top.
And then even with David, like, everybody's saying he looked terrible, and they're giving me a hard time about my bet with Cugino, which by the way, it's not looking good, but hey, this is what's fun about, this time, and we got to watch.
We just got to wait and see. But honestly, it's way too much. Give the ball to one guy and hope he makes something happen yesterday. There was no team aspect to our game whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Like, if you're talking about team I was ready to break a bottle over my head watching how many instances we would work up, kick the ball back into the middle, and these guys just freeze. Whether it was Thuram, whether it was Loca, whether it was Kambiaso, they just freeze. And then even Cope Miners in the set, they just freeze. And it's like, guys, what the fuck are you waiting for? What can't you understand? What are you looking for? Crosses? You have no aerial threat in that game other than Dusan Vlahovic. You want to cross a ball into one player? The game plan should have been get the ball deep, find trailers, and shoot the damn ball. Shoot the fucking ball. When we keep putting the ball to the inside, top of the area, and these guys just stand there like they have no clue what the next sequence should be, that's unacceptable. Take a step and rip the damn ball. Take a step, rip the ball. Or you know what? When that guy distributes to you, he should be going to try and get him behind the defense. Pop a little ball over the top. It's too easy. It's like we wanted to just dance. It's like we thought we were just going to walk and waltz right into the area and just score. Too cute. Fuck, enough of that garbage.
They tried to tiki-taka too much a little bit. The passing accuracy was terrible too, by the way. Like, every pass was like either too short or too much on an angle, and the other player who was receiving the pass didn't know that was the play that they were trying to do.
There's a lot of ugly out of yesterday's game.
Yeah,
no fluidity. Yeah,
like,
a lot.
You were the viewer, and you'd be like, oh, that's where the pass should have went, and the player who was supposed to receive it was nowhere near it. So it's like, just no chemistry together. No.
If you're gonna look at this as a 10 points out of 4 games, which is a positive, it's good. You're still top of the league for now until whatever happens with Napoli. I mean, the good news is, if you're gonna look at this in a positive manner, I wouldn't say that's just 10 points out of 4 games. It's the fact that it's early on, and this is why I was saying, like, it's time for Tudor to find alternatives, find some more answers. Because guess what? You're going to have to rest players. Guys, hey, I hope we go injury-free this year, but guess what? Guys are going to get hurt too. It can't be like that every time you need to rotate somebody. It can't be like that. You've got to find, so he needs to find the answers now. So those people that were telling me now's not the time to look at a 3-man midfield. Is it? I would argue it is the prime time to look at sorting that out. Yeah. Prime time to do it. Now, while it's early, while nothing is lost, while everything is still there. So, let's see. If we get to Juve, well, now you've got Atalanta, Villarreal, Milan, Como, Real Madrid, Lazio, and then finish with Udinese. Tricky piece of the schedule.
Yeah.
This will probably... There are some going out there to say we will know exactly what's to come with Tudor, period, in this month of October coming up. Do you think that's a fair assessment? That this is pretty much going to define Tudor for this season, this early, just the month of October with that slate of games?
Yeah, for me, I think it tells us everything. I think it really does. Because you've got 3 games basically crammed within a week and a half span. So no slouch teams either. Atalanta's always tricky. I'm kind of clowning on them because of the Juric this year. I don't think they're going to be as strong with Gasp not there, but still you got that following heading into Villarreal and then Milan, which Max will make his triumphant return behind the bench of Milan for our match conveniently. And then you've got Como, Real Madrid, and Lazio. Those are all tough fixtures, and then Udinese to follow that at the end. So yeah, I think this little stretch here will really tell us a lot about where we're headed this year and in general with Tudor. Is he going to be that one-trick pony that Al, I know you've touched on many times, that he's known to be a one-trick pony? Is he going to show us that? Is he going to be able to adapt and make the necessary changes? Is he going to utilize the depth that he has that you could argue Motta didn't have last season, right? We have more depth this year, bringing guys back from loans and whatnot. Like, we'll have to see. A lot of it's gonna be on him. I know the players play on the field, but he's got to come through and make the right decisions and play the right personnel.
Yeah. Sev, is this gonna define Tudor this month?
I think what it will definitely define. I don't think he'll get sacked if we have a bad stretch.
No, I don't expect him getting sacked.
No. But it will show us if he's able to, and I'll go back to that, not to repeat myself, but it'll show if he's not willing to adapt game by game, team by team, then we're in for a long season, because it's gonna. This is a real first test.
So, right now, if I'm looking at this, same thing. This could be make or break month, I think, in general for aspirations. It could be. Yeah. I'm not going to go as far to say like it's going to 100% make or break like Serie A as much, but it might, depending how it goes and depending what the rivals do. One of the positives coming out of the words that Tudor said when he was talking about the games and he was talking about 3 matches in 7 days, the one thing I do appreciate out of that comment is the fact that he's got something in his sights. At least I'll give him that. Because if you're automatically mentioning Napoli, who is the favorite to win the title and repeat, I at least appreciate that, because that tells me that you're gunning for something. Because maybe last year they would have brushed it off and said, well, or not choose to fight or not choose to make an argument like that. But at least I can appreciate that comment for that. At least he's got some type of ambition. At least he has some type of aspiration that he's looking to put yourself in that. So at least I can respect that for that comment for that much. At least he's not saying, well, this won't affect us reaching top 4. because you probably would have heard that years prior. So at least I'll give him that. But my God, this is a big stretch of games here. So Atalanta, at least you got rest now. This is another thing, though, Tudor also did. He can't be talking about rest. You got Atalanta now. Hey, guess what, man? You got your week off. You got to come out guns blazing, and you got to show us something, right? So Atalanta 27th. Villarreal will be 4 days later. Tricky game there, too. That's going to be away from home. Then you got Milan 4 days after, so the Wednesday to Sunday. I don't want to hear about tired for that Milan game. Mm-hmm. 4 days between. I don't want to hear about tired. And then you'll have an international break between Milan and Como. Como's actually going to be just a challenge on its own accord because they play good football, and they'll give big teams problems, I think. And then you get to Real Madrid 3 days later, Lazio 4 days after Real Madrid, and then Udinese. So make or break, sure, but it's actually manageable. And again, a lot of it comes down to Tudor. We just have to see. But make no mistake about it, he needs to find answers. And yes, we have another international break. That's going to be, second week of October there. So, yes, another international break. Guys, storm the barn. Let's try machine gun some of these. So, Alex Juve wasting no time. Done with 3-5-2. Some issues with creation. What do you think of 4-5-1? Letting Yildas be free in the middle. Digre, Kalulu, Bremer, Kelly, Cabal, Chico, Thuram, Loka, Kambiaso, Zhigrova, Yildas, David. Oh my goodness. 4-5-1 isn't far off from a 4-3-2-1 Christmas tree that I'm kind of going with. I'm fine with that. I just think you can't. No coach can ever think that one setup is it, be all end all. You got to have some variation. We have players that can allow him to alter that a bit too. 4-3-1-2, etc. Flat 4-3-3. And I also said a three-man midfield isn't set in stone that you have to have one like Regista. You could still work two deep, one working centrally north-south out of the middle. But I think Adzic and Miretti should be utilized in the middle of the park. Once Miretti gets back, like they are the ones that offer something different to the other players. Guys agree that we have to start actually maybe integrating them more because Adzic was claimed to be clearly not ready after yesterday's showing. Do you agree or disagree with those comments? And do you think we should be utilizing them? Trim, why don't you start?
Yeah, I think they both definitely got to be playing. And to whoever's saying that Adzic doesn't look ready based on yesterday's performance, I'd say, well, look where he played. They put him in straight swap for, was it Thuram or Loka as one of the pivots? That's not really his game. Should be playing higher up the pitch behind the striker, preferably. And again, if we do end up switching the formation, let's say you go 4-2-3-1 or you go 4-3-3. In a 4-3-3, he can maybe play in the middle of that three-man midfield. Be insulated by Bremer and whoever's behind him paired with Bremer in the back line, right? And then you can have Thuram or Coop or whoever it is out wide kind of giving him some support. But I definitely think that they're both needing to be utilized, especially if we do switch formation. If we keep the formation the way it is, it still caters to them. You want them behind the strikers. Like I said, they're the only two that can really help build up from the middle to help get into that final third and give chances to our guys up top. So yeah, I definitely want to see both of them in action.
There you go. Sev, what do you think?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything Trim just said. I think that everybody had a sloppy game yesterday. I don't think you can take what Adzic did yesterday and say, oh, he's not ready or whatever. Because why? 4 days ago he was ready. Like you can't go down that route. I don't think anybody looked great. So everybody looked sloppy yesterday.
Yeah, it was just an ugly one in general. I think we just need to I think we all need to reel it in. I think that was my message on the AJC Army, the members chat there. And I said, you know what? We just all need to reel it in. It's the first one in Serie A that ended up going that route and getting blocked. Let's take it. Let's move in stride. Boys, you guys frozen? Oh, no. Okay, just reading. Holy smokes. I thought your screens froze. You both went freaking stop moving. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's the first one that got away from us. It shows some signs, but I mean, my God. This is when I would want these things to creep up. We got plenty of time to clean it up. And again, from a positive perspective, there's not a whole bunch to clean up. Tudor's just got to find a way to just bring the balance back into our game. Because we've kind of gone on tilt here. For those who are younger, for the old heads around here, on tilt is like when you're playing one of those pinball games and then it starts going haywire and you're just doing everything you can to survive. That's on tilt. Okay? We just need to reel it in. They need to calm things down. He needs to find stability. But I do think the midfield is where it's got to come. And if we do switch to a 3-man midfield, this is literally last chance saloon for Colt Miners. Jesus, man. Enough's enough. Like, all this 2-man pivot, advanced role, midfield. Like, at the end of the day, man, you got to find a way to impact games. You have to find a way to find a role that you're, like, comfortable in, that you're helping the group in. It's just a whole lot of nothing. He's got to find a way, because if you go 3-man midfield and he's still floating around in weird positions and not doing anything to help the group, we're gonna have some problems. But I need to see Thuram and whoever is going to be on that right side mid as box to box. I think we need 2 box to box. Hold back Locatelli, go with a 4-man back line, and hopefully Bremer and Gati can become what they were at the beginning of last season, when teams were barely getting 5 attempts on us a match to start. Let's try to go that route. But Gati makes me nervous too, because there's this thought that João Mario and Kambiaso should not both be playing fullbacks at the same time in a back 4. Do you agree or disagree with that statement?
I don't know about that, because Mario was weird yesterday, in my opinion, because we've been shouting for him to start a game all season. And yesterday was the first time he did, and I was kind of a little disappointed. Defensively, anyway. Offensively, he was running the ball up the pitch nicely, but then would get into clutters and not know what to do with it, fall on the floor a lot. So I don't know if I'm ready to say I don't want them both playing together, but yeah, I think I need to see more before I'm ready to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trim, what do you think?
For me, I would go Kalulu on the right side, Kambiaso on the left side, and keep Mario on the bench. And then when you sub in Mario as an alternative to Kalulu, then yeah, I would look at pulling out Kambiaso on the left and maybe putting Cabal. If we go with the 4-man backline, we know Mario's limitations. It's on the defensive side of things, but Kambiaso's the same way. And if you watch both their games yesterday, you can clearly see that as the game went on, with, you want to call it fatigue or tired legs, like both guys just couldn't possess the ball and couldn't figure out what to do with it at a certain point. And it's almost like how many times did you see Conceição and Mario like run into each other? I was like, guys, like what the hell are we doing here? Like, get out of the way. You guys are getting in your own way. Like, it didn't look good.
And they
yesterday
played together.
But yeah,
they
for the
played
two
together.
of them in Portugal. Yeah.
So my issue is, if you don't go that route, you're going to have Gati and Kalulu again together.
On that side. Yeah. Like one playing in the middle and one playing outside right.
Yeah. So it's a pick your poison thing. This is part of the struggle for Tudor, but I still would ultimately go that route unless somebody thinks Rugani and Bremer partner up in a back 4. And then you have 2 legit CBs. But there are people humming and hawing about passing, about the passing game out of the back line and it being an issue. But, I mean, we watched, again, if you go back to games, I just think right now, all our problems, for me, stem out of the middle of the pitch. I think both defensively, offensively, balance-wise, if you don't have it right there, this is where games are won and lost. Always say it. It's the same old adage. It's the same old line. If you don't have it right in the middle of the park, everything suffers. Everything suffers. So I think you start there before we get too wild and too crazy. Good luck, Tudor, and Godspeed. I'm going to say that. Good luck and Godspeed, man. Yeah. I wouldn't put this down to Tudor's shortcomings. I honestly believe the players weren't up to snuff at all in this match. Sloppy to no end and couldn't string anything together. I disagree wholeheartedly that Tudor's shortcomings didn't come through. You cannot play a second half and only change substitutes if you're watching that game. It 1000% is Tudor's shortcomings. And if you're going to talk about players not up to snuff, again, we talk about this whole rest thing. It's up to who? Is it up to you, Giratina70, to figure out who's too tired to play in that game? Or is it up to the coach? Yeah. He's got a job to do. This one, drop points, is on Tudor. Never had the balance. This is the same guy that will tell you. He's the same guy that will tell you it's all about balance. We just heard that between Inter and Dortmund. Tudor preached balance. It's all about balance. All my lineups are about balance. Balance, 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 balance. Okay. Where the hell has the balance been the past 3 games?
Well, I was just going to say, when it's out of balance, when are you going to say that, call it for what it is? It's clearly, there's no balance right now, right? So
we've lost the balance. So how could this not be a Tudor shortcoming out of this game? Easily is. Easily.
Yep.
Think people are overreacting after the match severely. After this one, where is everyone's panic meter on a scale of 1 to 10? For me, it's a 3. I don't think it's not panic. Panic's not the word.
Panic is.
It's a growing concern, but the concerns were there for Tudor, again, as I stated, from the beginning of the season. Will he adapt? You know that even when you start off, you get wins, you're feeling good, the vibes are there. You know you're going to hit a moment where it's like, okay, he's going to have a plan B. He's going to have to dial something up. And we said it before the season even started. Remember last year when he came in as an intern? Substitutions way too late. What's the biggest concern that's followed Tudor? In-game management. Yep. That's why, to Giratina's thing of this not being a Tudor shortcoming, how on earth can you watch that one yesterday and say that the in-game management was on point? I don't think you can, because none of the issues were properly addressed.
Yeah, we just did a show on it, like a whole show on it. Like, what do you mean?
They countered us in the first half. In the second half, they countered us even more effectively after changes.
Yep.
That can't be good in-game management. It just can't be.
Not to mention, we also didn't we not just give him credit for making the in-game adjustments in the intermatch that ultimately led to our win in the match?
Yeah.
So, again, brilliant individual performance in the sense of that shot from Adzic, but Adzic wasn't starting. He put him on the field. We praised him, and you guys praised him in the post-match for the right substitution at the right time. That was better or proper in-game management. So you got to be able to call it both ways. When we come off a draw that feels like a loss in the sense that, we should have had the 3 points because of the weaker opponent, and when we're trailing in a game and we score 2 stoppage time goals to tie it and then a late winner, right? So it's got to go both ways. You got to just call it.
Yeah. We got to we got work to do. Tudor's got to get it going. Have you heard about Yildas? Yildas nuts, Adam. Holy.
That's a straight red. That one's.
I don't know. Seth's going pretty good here. The D's nuts gets you. That's all it takes, Seth.
No, but you know what it is? It's sometimes they're so bad you have to laugh. Like, I think that's what it is with me. It's just.
We got straight red from. I'm gonna give him a yellow. I'm going to give him a yellow. A little bit
There were
lazy
some
there,
better
Adam,
ones
but
in
you
there.
know what?
Yeah.
Yildas nuts. Okay, come on. Yellow. That's funny. That's funny. What the hell is up with Gati? He's been so underwhelmed. There's nothing up with Gati. He can't play in this heart of a three-man. Like,
Yeah.
This is another part of going back to the shortcomings of Tudor. If you can see it and feel it at a starting lineup from your home, from your couch, from your gaming chair, whatever,
Problem.
then how on earth is our coach not seeing it? The first thing we all thought when we saw that backline is that is terrorism. Like, figure something else out. Back four, balance it out. Like, get Rugani in the heart at least. Which is funny because Rugani is the one that has been coming in for Bremer through, like, the preseason and stuff like that to offer him breaks or whatever. It was Rugani playing there. So now all of a sudden it's Gatti, and he looked. It was awful. It was terrible.
I know exactly what happened to Gati. I can tell you, and I can pinpoint the exact moment that everything changed. It's when he gave us the bird in Philly, and he turned his back to us, and he just said, "Piss off! I'm not coming up to you guys." And ever since that situation, he's just changed, man. I'm telling you.
Well, he didn't flip us the bird, so let's not start
Yeah,
something.
No,
He didn't
but
flip
blew
us the
off.
bird.
He blew us off.
He was
right?
Well, maybe you because you were over on that side, but I don't know.
Oh, okay, all right.
If he was over on our side, he would saw that's where the party was at, and he would have came by. To be honest, man, I think it all went wrong with the haircut. The haircut
No, I
is
was gonna say that.
Yeah.
that's it. When you go Goran Pandev, it's over. It's over. Yeah, Tudor's got to have a better read on this, man. We can't be doing stuff like that and just thinking. It's almost arrogant, right? Oh, we're playing Verona. I could probably get away with. Like, no, you can't think like that. You got to take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Bremer post-match? Yeah, so weird. They were doing a team cool down. And then it was like he collapsed is what the news was. Like, he collapsed. I guess he went down and like took a breather and was like feeling odder side. He's completely fine. Juve hasn't mentioned anything about him. But that's enough to send shockwaves through Juventini because this guy can't go down. Yesterday was, funny enough, a prime game to show you just how crucial and how critical he is. We got to talk about it because we talked about it all summer long. Did Juve drop the ball in not bringing in a defender and thinking they were fine? We criticized them heavily for... I remember, I must have sounded like a broken record to everybody in the AGC but it's like, how do you look at this back line and think it's complete?
Yeah.
It's
not. It's exactly how we thought it would play out so far, I would say, in terms of, needing that extra guy. Because now they've got built-in excuses. Oh, we don't have enough rotational pieces to play a four-man back line to play center back. And it's like, well, you could have went and got one. And we were crying for it for how long and beating that drum. So, yeah, it's showing.
I think they should have pushed for one of the top options out of the back line there. That were some cheap deals. There were some cheap deals to be had there. It would feel a lot better. It would feel a lot better if we had somebody that's top to either partner with Bremer or even carry the load in his absence when he needs a break. Because we can't look like we did yesterday if that's going to be the way it was. And Pino says, yes, last year we show up for the big matches and seem to take the small clubs too lightly. There was definitely it's definitely a lack of energy yesterday. I mean, you could feel it. Like there was definitely a lack of energy. So, I mean, tired legs and stuff like that, that's going to play a part. But that's why your in-game management needs to be spot on. Because if you're going to run around there like a bunch of young kids that have no strategy whatsoever, yeah, you're already on tired legs. How does that game plan make sense for you? Put an extra body in the midfield, stabilize everything, go four-man backline, and play the possession game properly. Don't get into a run-and-gun game. Don't get into this game where it's useless turnovers left and right, and then you're leaving your back three. Because as bad as the back three were, how many times did you see Verona just running at Kalulu, Gati, and Kelly, who were all alone?
They look like deer in the headlights, man. You just saw their eyes just wide.
Yeah.
They're like, oh crap, what the hell are we gonna do with these guys?
It
No
was terrible.
support.
And I'm like,
It was
man,
bad.
so
It
granted
was
they
bad.
have issues between all three of them. But my goodness, man, we left them high and dry. And it was just like
Yeah.
scary scenes.
Guys, I'm gonna head out really quick before the end of the show. Just want to say thank you. The show was awesome. Fino la fine. I gotta head out, but yeah, guys,
ciao,
we'll
Seb.
see you on the next. We'll see you on the next one.
Take care,
Betcha.
brother.
Later, man.
And then there were two. And then there
Uh-oh.
were two. So let's get into this, Trimmy. We're going to get this overlay out of here. We're going to keep rolling with some Storm the Barns. Newcastle following Dushan. If he remains hot, and do we sell in January if possible and recoup some cash, or hold and let him help us in the second half of the season? Okay. Let's put this to a poll question. Trim, why don't you answer this one? Okay.
Sure. Well, it's funny because I know what I would do if it was me. And if I was making the calls and the shots, I would definitely move them. Because I think that if you move them early enough in the window, if they do want them, like January 1st, January 2nd, when the window opens, you move them and then you try to bring in somebody else, either whether it be on loan for 6 months or another striker option. But knowing the way the club is, and I don't know, this is just a gut feeling that I have, I think they're just going to keep them and let them walk for free. Unless somebody makes a crazy offer, which in January nobody's going to do. I can't see the offer being higher than 10 million, 15 million at the most. Then yeah, I think the club's just going to keep him, use him as like an own rental, as we call it in like North American sports, and just let his contract run out, because he's clearly not going to re-sign with us, like unless he lowers his wage demands, which I don't see happening. I don't see him sticking around.
This is it's tough because you're in a spot where he could probably obviously be useful for the second half of the season. But do you really want to recoup some of the funds as opposed to getting nothing? Do you leave yourself in a situation where you could really use him coming off the bench and being that guy? This is a tough one. It's a tough one. I think it's way too early to make the call right now. I think it also depends on the money. Someone's coming in 15 million. It might be worth that to keep him and to have him around for the second half of the season, right? It's really going to come down to the money. The other aspect is, if the rumors are true that he's still looking for double-digit salary, take what you can get, bite the bullet. I don't know. It's really, really hard one for me to decide right now. I don't think we're going to see, with a guy with 6 months left on his contract, a number right now that makes sense to cut ourselves loose in January. Unless you had an option that you felt super comfortable would come in and be able to impact games either off the bench or whatnot. If you had somebody lined up in January that could do that, hey, sure. But I feel like we might get into a situation where holding him might be the play. 74%, yes, they would sell him. Yeah. Right now, I'm leaning towards a no. But
the other thing too, though, is like, I think with the way that Openda and David have started off for us is making us kind of more hesitant to want to maybe keep him, or at least for the club standpoint, because they've come in, and I mean, especially with David, like he's going to take time to adjust, but they haven't really hit the ground running. So I feel like as the next couple months rolls along, if they start to pick up their performance and they actually get given enough game time to show that, maybe it makes it a little bit easier. Because again, Openda's kind of the wild card, because we didn't expect to pick him up, and we did late in the window. So it's another option as a 9. So they do have the flexibility.
It's an interesting thing, because it's like you look at David and it's like, oh, hasn't hit the ground running. But honestly, he looked good in terms of what he was doing for build-up and playing interchange with the other attackers and stuff. But then we had this breakup because Conceição ended up going away, getting hurt. And then all of a sudden we got, a couple games. We've got Vlahovic starting. It's kind of all over the place. I just feel like you got to make sense of who you're playing and the opponent, and I feel like that's kind of been lost. And balance has kind of been lost, but David, you can't just put this guy all of a sudden on a bench, and now you've added Openda as well, and it looks like Tudor loves Openda, loves the pace, the grit, the aggression, but it's got to make sense from him too. So too many cooks in the kitchen can also maybe create an issue if none of them are making some of their roles fit. So David has worked like predominantly as the guy up top since we've had him. And then all of a sudden, he gets dropped back into one of the attack roles. And it's like, yeah, he can do that. But to expect it to hit in the first match or whatever, and then be like, no, that doesn't work at all. Openda was there, and it's like, yeah, okay. Well, hard running and aggression and physicality is one part of the battle. You might have yourself a situation where, again, going back to the 4-3-3 and playing that situation, Openda has played as a winger in that type of setup. That can open things up for him as well, depending on how he interprets that role. Even if it's a Christmas tree 4-3-2-1 and you see them as invert, he would have the freedom to take up that flank and everything. So it would be something to try. But I think you're getting away from David a bit too much. And I still see David as the top option for the group play in the final third because of him allowing to interchange with Yildas, helping Yildas get into shooting scenarios, allowing Kambiaso to take an overlapping position because of him coming back and just abandoning that back line. Completely different than how Vlahovic would play that and get easily isolated. I just don't think yesterday was a match for Vlahovic. I said that 2 days before the game. And everybody's like, he's going to start. I was like, sure he is. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the same thing against Inter. He was ass. And they're like, well, he's not getting service. No, he won't, because that's not our fucking game.
Yep.
Game is the build-up. Build up as a unit, and then the danger guys try to beat guys and set somebody up or take a rip. Like, that's where we're at.
Yeah, agree.
It's got to make sense. Got to make sense. BB77, if your players are gassed by the fourth match day, then it's a failure on athletic preparation. Half the year play 3 games a week, yet I don't see a team struggling to run in the 50th minute. You know what's funny is we talked about how good we looked physically, right? And the guys are in shape and stuff, but yesterday was the first game. They did look tired, right?
Well, and I was just going to say, it's one game. Like yesterday, like I didn't pinpoint that or think that in the Dortmund game, and it didn't look like it in the Inter match. So that's why it's like, again, it's one match. So let's see. Now they have a little rest break until we play Atalanta. But yeah, to your point of Tudor's got to figure out, the training setup and when they're practicing, and maybe change it up a bit in terms of like how often when there's these weeks and matches. So he's got some time to figure it out. And
again, I see this comment about Openda is not a striker, he's just a backup winner for Chico. Does anybody else have a concern that with all these guys, we're starting to get into like a mode where it's starting to look like it's going to be hope for these guys to pull out something individually, and we're getting away from team play? Like you got Yildas, Chico, Zhigrova. And it was like, was that just a moment in that game, a moment in some of these other games where it feels like that? Or are we taking away from the team play? Like, it's a concern I have when the team specifically hones in on certain guys and then stands there because of how stagnant we are, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get concerned about it. I'm starting to get like we're playing past to certain guys and hope because of how they even looked at like Zhigrova when he stepped into Dortmund. He had a good showing, but it concerns me when it's like, oh, we got to go here. We got to go here. We got to go here. It's like, guys, take what the game gives you. but sometimes it has feel forced in some of these games too. Something to keep an eye on. But have you felt that too, Trim?
I have, and that's also why I think we knew what we were getting ourselves into when we picked these guys up. Like, for example, in the summer, trying to figure out, are we going to redeem Consensao? And he's one as an example, bringing in Jagrova. We know his link-up play with David at Lille, so there's the connection there. But at times, they can feel like they're just one-dimensional, kind of doing it for themselves. And you saw it a bit yesterday, and I mean, to be fair, with Chico specifically, if he doesn't put that ball in the net, we might have a different tune on how he played yesterday, because there were times where he looked like he was very much doing it on his own. And, he's trying to make the best of what he could on the right side, trying to cross in balls and stuff. But at times, Yildas, love the guy. I think he was under a magnifying glass yesterday because he got the armband. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Had a lot of people rumbling about him getting the armband, and some not very happy in the sense that too quickly, too soon getting the armband. For me, I didn't mind it. But anyways, him as well. Like, he's 20 years old. He should be able to have the fitness to withstand playing all these matches and keep him out there. But again, from my point of view, it's not that he's not fit enough to play in these matches. It's give him a little bit of a break so he doesn't feel or have to feel like he has to do it all on his own. Because there were times where even on the left side, when Yildas has the ball in possession in the final third, he feels like he has to do it himself. He's trying to look for plays, but, just to kind of change things up, keep it fresh, right?
First off, Cugino Eddie trying to cash in early here. Pump the brakes, buddy.
What? I like this. I like the little bit of back and forth because it makes it interesting. So
makes it fun for sure. Listen, Yildas, 20 years old, youngest ever to don the armband for Juventus. Fans had a problem with it. I mean, he was named one of the vice captains earlier on, as well as Thuram.
Yeah.
So it was Locatelli, Bremer, Yildas, Thuram. I don't have any problems with it, and I gotta say, the attitude comes through and shows it. I mean, the attitude on the pitch says it all, says everything. So I have no issues with him getting that armband. And if you're looking at early candidates for MVP, I mean, it's him. He's been on fire for Tudor. But the thing is, it's time to understand, and this is where Tudor will come through. He can't play every single game. What's your alternative? How do you make up for it? I don't think you can from an individual perspective, unless all of a sudden Jagrova, when he reaches full fitness, he can take over the reins and be a major creative force for this team. But this is kind of my issue, is like the group is going to have to strengthen itself as a unit, as opposed to us just looking for one-for-ones. And that's my issue with yesterday's game. Tudor was looking at everything in this thing as a one-for-one, when the game told a completely different story watching that one. Let's see what happens. Pierre's got the question, is it me or is Tudor already down on David at the moment? It would appear so, but it's very early. It's very, very early. And I don't think that David's going to just disappear. I don't see that happening whatsoever. And I think actually, because he hasn't been in this stretch of games and making cameos in these style appearances, I actually think in the end it's going to show the difference as when he's at the top versus the other two. There's certain things that are showing up here that Tudor, despite what some of his personal preferences may be, I don't think he can deny. There's certain things like at the back, with the back three and stuff, like he's going to have to figure that out. Locatelli, I said this before, he's crucial if you're playing two-man pivot. You're playing two-man pivot, he pretty much has to be in there or you have to scrap it. And I think David is actually going to be one of them that in the final third, a lot of your link-up, a lot of space that gets created is him over the other two. A guy like Openda would make sense from a pace perspective and an aggression perspective if you might be running at teams, right? Even Vlahovic makes a lot of sense if it's a run and gun game, if it's wide open, if the battle could be 50-50 on the ball. A lot of space in that game. But against teams that want to clamp down and technically you have to be strong, David would be the pick over the other two easily for me. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it that Tudor's like writing him off right now. I just think Tudor needs to find the right mix for the right opponent. What do you think, Trent?
No, exactly, 100%. And I mean, you could even see in the spot duty that he had yesterday, although he was playing in the 10 role, like he's still trying to create those like short pass tiki taka plays to open up space for guys. The problem is that it was just too late in the game
Yeah.
that he got brought in, and they didn't have enough time to really create anything. And then couple that with bringing in Jagrova, like I said, with only 10 minutes, like it's not enough time. You need to give them more time. But to your point, like you see the best quality in him when he's playing as the out and out 9. The problem is that, to your point, Tudor's kind of, he has favorites, and Vlahovic is his guy. He's made that very clear. But like you said, it's situational where he's got to pick and choose when he's got to play these guys and at what moments and against which teams. A game like Inter 3-5-2 where he's battling a Cherby and Bastoni back there, like Vlahovic is a little bit more useful. He might lose those physical battles here and there, but he creates more open space.
Did
right?
he ever, man? A Cherby crackhead era, a Cherby manhandled him.
He handled him like too easily, and it's kind of sad because Vlahovic has the age factor there and he's a little bit bigger and stronger. But anyway,
popcorn muscles, man. Always said it. All show, no go. Unpopular storm the barn. An unpopular storm the barn? Huh. Adam's jokes. Might be the only unpopular. Oh, hey-o. Boom. If Tudor doesn't turn it around by November, should we bring Simone Inzaghi? Holy smokes. Guys, I can't say at this point that we are in a moment right now where we need to think about Tudor getting the sack. I'm just talking about him reading games better and in-game management. You're taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, no, I don't even think it's possible, only because you'd have a hard time prying him away from that Saudi money. I think he's pretty content over there. So
Limone. I still love Tudor for a lot of the character things that he brings. And I think he's really good for this group of young players because of the character he shows. I appreciated him taking full responsibility and accountability. This is what blows me away. Full responsibility, full accountability for the 7 goals when everybody was thrashing Di Gregorio. And he comes out, he goes, no, that's on me. That's on me. This is our guy. I'm going to stand behind him. And I love that. But then yesterday, it was like a full 180. And it's like, nah, 3 games, 7 days. It was like, tired. He's like, these officials and stuff. And it was like, whoa, man. Keep it level. Don't go too far over there on the side. Although I do believe these things need to be brought up to the league's attention and everything. Careful. Just be careful because you're going full extreme from one extreme of accountability right down to the other.
Yeah.
So just keep it level. But I do appreciate a lot of the character qualities, and I think for the team overall, he is good. I'm not going to talk about Tudor Lee. I don't think we're going to get into a spot where it's so bad that we're actually talking about Tudor getting sacked. And I would seriously hope not. Knock on wood. Because this team needs to find some stability somewhere. Like, going through changes nonstop, it's like you have to hit a point to be making a change where it's like, holy smokes. Let's just, for me, I'll give you 2 scenarios. If we are like going down this season looking awful and all of a sudden we're fighting for top 4 and top 4 is uncertain, you might have to think about it. But the other kicker is it absolutely has to be an elite coach. Has to be an elite coach. That was my only thing with this past summer because I didn't see any of the guys as being elite. Like Pioli, Mancini, like what I'm just not seeing it. So I'm like, no, you're probably better off to stick with the guy that's got some DNA, some association to the club and good strong character. But if you move away, we can't keep playing the same game with this certain tier coach. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But the problem is until Juve starts to get a lot of things right, how the hell are you going to attract those guys?
That's the thing. And there's
'Cause they're
been
not
so
going to
much
want to walk
turnover.
into a mess, right? Or a shit show.
And there's been so much turnover in player personnel as well. So not to mention management and managers. Like we've also had a lot of player personnel change, and that makes it difficult on its own because not only are you trying to hone down one manager and a style of play with that particular manager, but also like players and getting players in that might fit his system, and it's an endless cycle. So until things start to stabilize, I think it's going to take some time. We're going to kind of be in this limbo mode, right? Like just waiting to see.
Yeah, I think like you got to try and find some stability, but you definitely have to work better through the window. You have to stabilize the office. And what's going on in the office has to strengthen and be strong. Find your stability, get strong players in, start making the right moves, get that team building, because I don't see an elite level coach coming in here unless Juve breaks the bank. And they might have to. They might have to stop cheaping out. Yeah. Cheaping out is one of the reasons we didn't bring a return at one. And I'm just gonna leave it there. We're not gonna get too crazy. I'll just leave it there. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's time for them to put up or shut up if it ever reaches that point. But I seriously hope not, for Tudor's sake and for all of ours, because we can't keep going in circles, right? Is Kambiaso injured? He looks like he lost a step. His timing, everything is just off. I don't even know what this guy. I think he's just streaky as hell. I'll be quite honest, man. Love the guy. When he's on, he is incredible. Trim, I don't think he's injured.
I don't think he's injured either. And again, it's funny. Coming off a couple match ban, you think he'd be a lot more fresh and look a lot better than he has in the past few games, but he hasn't. And I don't know, is it crazy to say like maybe he needs to, like Tudor that is, needs to start looking at some of these guys and their poor performances and just tell them like, listen, you got to sit this one out if you're not gonna show. And I don't know what they do in training to show that they're ready to be in the starting lineup and play, but obviously, he's got to take things into consideration and maybe sitting him for a game or even a half just to kind of say like, you got to step it up or you're not playing kind of thing, right?
Gio
Especially
kills me with his brain is injured. Going back to Sev's point about asking if it's like the player that's playing behind him, I'm going to say no. And the reason is because Thuram and Yildas have been there next to him like the entire time too. So it's like amongst all of that, it's not like you're playing with different guys every single match and you can't get in rhythm. It's like you should have chemistry at this point.
Yeah. No, and those guys in particular have been around for a year and a half now together, all playing together. So it's like I can't use that as an excuse for me personally.
Yeah. Only worry about defense team. Dortmund 4-4, too much goals. We need to get better defensively. I still put it down to balance. We just need to find the right mix, the right balance. And it will change and fluctuate from game to game. Tudor's got to read matches better. I still think that's the one thing with Tudor. Give us ideal 11. Trim, do you know your ideal 11 setup formation? I've got mine ready to go. I can rip first, but I'll just fire away. It is a 4-3-3. It is Di Gregorio in goal. I would probably see Kalulu as a starting right back. I would still battle with the right side, but I would go Gati next to Bremer. And then I would have Kambiaso as your left back. In the middle of the pitch, I would have Thuram, and I would have Locatelli, and I would have one of Adzic or Miretti as my main three. Okay? And I would utilize Thuram and one of Adzic or Miretti as box-to-box guys. Okay? But Miretti, if it was him, I might switch it to where Thuram and Loca stabilize and he works right out of the center, coming back and forth Miretti. Just so he could be more offensive minded. The two, your main, Yildas and Jagrova, if Jagrova's fit. 100%. Yildas and Jagrova. And then up top, it's Jonathan David. From everything I've seen from all the other guys, it's Jonathan David. That is my ideal 11 right now. and again, it's funny to say that's my ideal 11, not having seen a 4-3-3 fucking played, but that's how I see this team probably getting the most balance. I'll be quite honest. Trim, what's yours?
Mine would pretty much be identical, and then it would change depending on if you want to do like more of a defending three-man midfield, to your point of having Thuram and Loka hanging back, and then your offensive guy running up and down would be either Adzic or Miretti. But if we played a flat 4-3-3, and again, I know this is going to be very unpopular opinion, but I'd actually have Coop out wide left and Thuram on the right and Loka in the middle, so that at least you have box to box. I feel Coop and Thuram box to box would be a lot better, and it would suit Coop more coming in off the left. But again, I wouldn't be opposed to having him start off the bench either. He would get in there eventually in spot duty, and he could be a rotational piece for sure. But up top, yeah, I like the three up top. I think the thing with Chico that frustrates me the most is I feel like he's too one-dimensional in the sense that he tries to do it a lot himself. He's gotten better, I'll give him that. Like, he has made attempts to try to play the ball more to his teammates around him and try to cross the ball in there, but I just feel like Zhagrova is more of a playmaker. I don't see him being the guy that kind of take it all in on his own and just hammer one home, and when he's got no options there, like, I feel like he's more willing to move the ball and distribute, so that's kind of why I have him slightly ahead of Chico on the right side.
Yeah. Now, we got to wrap things up. I think we're going to just get to a couple of these last ones and probably shut it down for now. But you could see just a lot of the same feelings across everybody. It's like you're partially optimistic, partially pessimistic. You're kind of somewhere in the middle right now. That's kind of how I feel with this Juve, because we've seen a lot of good, but we have seen it kind of... We've seen warning signs. Let's call it for what it is. There's warning signs there. And now we're questioning if Tudor is going to correct that, or if it's going to be just, hey, plug and play players. And with this Storm the Barn, who is our Thuram substitute? Who is our Thuram substitute? You got to do it by group. I'll be quite honest. Yeah. Even when I talk about Khéphren Thuram, and I love Khéphren Thuram. I am a massive Khéphren Thuram fan. There are a lot of scenarios in games where he coasts. I'll call it coasting, where I don't feel 100% locked in, even from him. I don't have a fear of, like, the one part of his game that's probably constant is breaking up the other team, breaking up the other opposition, and being this presence in the middle of the pitch. I still think it's not to a level where we are completely lost. And like, another big thing that he does out of the midfield is drive the ball forward out of the midfield. I do think you will get that and find that with Miretti and Adzic. You could still have that. So if you want to break the game up, that's why I say midfield three. Locatelli is your lockdown stabilizer. Cope Miners can break up the opposition. McKennie can break up the opposition. Then if you want to drive the ball out of there, you would have Adzic. You would have Miretti. There's still only like two players on this team better at finding pockets of space to link up mid to attack than Miretti. People could say whatever they want about him. There's only two players, maybe three now, on this team actively that find the pockets to link mid to attack better than Miretti. Obviously, Keenan Yildas is one of them. So I'm not terrified of making a Thuram change. Like, I'm not terrified. I really think they just need an extra body in there so that they stop getting sucked in flank to flank, and then a team switches the field and we're dead to rights with space everywhere.
Exactly.
So I'm not worried about the Thuram sub. What do you think when you're looking at Thuram's substitute?
Yeah, like, to your point, you touched on it. It's got to be done by committee. It's not one specific player. And I think that's where we fell victim yesterday. You hit the nail on the head. He's going like for like sub in a game where it was more formation and personnel that to start that kind of set us up for failure, right? And to your point of Thuram kind of getting lost and almost like coasting, like yesterday was a perfect example of fatigue, because there was one fast break where we got caught and he was the last midfielder back to try to run back and help out the defense. And if you watch him in the replay, he's barely jogging. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. So he was out of gas at that moment. I think it was like end of the first half or close to the end of the first half. So at that point you're like, okay, you got to take him out.
You got to take him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, my thing with Thuram is, and I love Thuram, he's just got to figure out like what makes him so impactful and find a way to bring that game in, game out. I'm not going to rag on the guy for when he's gassed or whatever, and he's clearly gassed, and we could tell he needed a breather. I was surprised to see him start. I'll be quite honest. I didn't think he was going to start yesterday's game. But he's got to know there's times in games, and let's not talk about yesterday's game because of the gas. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt there. But there's moments in games where it's like, you know your strength, you can carry this thing, drive this ball here, and he'll stop. And he'll sit back, he'll wait too long, and then he'll start dribbling, twisting, and it's like, dude, that's your bread and butter. You open up everything for everyone down the line. Kambiaso, Yildas, whoever's at strike. You open up everything for those guys when you're driving that ball forward. So when he passes up on opportunities like that, for no real apparent reason, it's like, man, we need you realizing how you help the group the most. For me, over and above him breaking up the play in the middle, it's when he's driving the ball out of there. We can't lose that. It's critical. So, hey, is what it is. We just got to see consistency with players has a part to do with it. But I still stand firm. Tudor's shortcomings are what dropped the points yesterday, and we've got to get better. We've got to get better. On that note, hey, Saturday, 27th, it's Atalanta and Zurich. I still have full faith. We beat them up. Get our rest. We'll have a strong 11. And we're going to go in there and claim the victory. For now, 10 points out of 4 games. Nothing to hit the panic button, so to speak. Cliff was talking panic. No, not panic. And he was saying he's at a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm at a 2, a 3. Yep. There are concerns we got addressed. Will Tudor do it? Will he show us some magic, some adapting, some level of, understanding to the situation? That's what I need to see now. What I need to see now. But the guys, thankfully, will have rest, so we won't have to worry about tired legs. And I get pretty pissy at my age hearing 20-year-olds, 21, talking about a break. Guys, got 2 kids. You want to tell me about a break? At my age, 2 kids running around? Need a break? I need a break. I need a nap. All right?
Yeah.
These guys, let's go. Let's get to business. We need more out of our players. We need more out of Juve. Little cracks here about the age and these guys talking about tired. You want to talk about tired? Hey, Yildas, come over, okay? You watch, you babysit the kids for one afternoon. I'll show you tired, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But I love Yildas. Don't get hard on him for the captain's armband. It isn't too soon. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, okay?
He leads by example.
Gino Eddie just turned 50 yesterday. Eddie, what? 50? No chance you're 50.
No way.
Chance. Mitch, 51. Holy smokes,
way.
You guys. Making me feel young. Making me feel young again. Look at that. Love it. Love it. Guys, enjoy what's left of your weekend. Don't worry about this result. We'll get the next one with the victory against Atalanta. Tudor has work to do. The players, on their own accord, have to find consistency. Let's hope they get it done. There's a lot to tackle. Formation change, a lot of us feel That's what you need to get the balance right. Will Tudor do it or stick to his guns? I have a feeling he's going to stick to his guns.
Let's hope not.
Hey, he's going to stick to his guns. I expect him to stick to his guns. Hopefully the guns are firing, though, and hopefully they hit Atalanta. You guys, thanks for a great show. Army, you guys are second to none. Like the video. Make sure you like it on your way out. Trim, always an absolute pleasure. We said goodbye to Severino early there. All right, but a lot of fun. Again, in the build-up to the game, I'll have you on your news daily updates, and then we'll get to the match day stuff, and I will be back for a watch-along. I still think that's the entire problem. Trimmy, no watch-along for the first time this season. I think that's the problem. Nah, it's Tudor and in-game adjustments. Let's go figure it out. You guys, have a great time. As always, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.